years. It's
Yeah.
just something I wanted to sort of touch upon is the influence Motown has had, with sort of 80s music, with my kind of generation. Because obviously I started in 80s with sort of Pride and Sade in London when I was 20. And you guys had been doing this thing with Motown in 72. Now, you had 10 years on everybody in London. So, whereas I was wanting to join a jazz funk band coming from a rock new wave thing, wanting to join a jazz funk band in London, and everybody was starting to put these jazz funk bands together. You guys had started from 72 onwards. So, what I'm trying to get to here is the influence you guys had on our generation when we were making sort of jazz funk records, in the 80s and the late 80s there. Because I think Tina Maria, Sarita Rice, these people really influenced, young artists of the 80s like Sade and Madonna. Can you give me a bit of a spin on that from your perspective?
One thing I can say about Motown, they definitely set the bar, they set the trend for most, for a lot of music. They would come out with it first. Mr. Gordy was very good about going out and really getting all the best writers on his team.
Yeah.
Which made for trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, these guys the writing meetings was just incredible room to be at Motown.
But there was this talent pool that was just, it just seemed to be endless of such talented people. I mean, you had, not only did you have, people like Miles Davis being incredible talents, but then he had a partner, Betty Davis, who was a phenomenal artist in her own right.
Yes.
And a precursor to everybody, of this generation. Well, of my generation, for a fact. The talent pool in the 70s was incredible. How did he find the talent? How did he find you guys?
You know what? I don't think he had to look. He didn't have to look for talent. You know what I mean? Talent just kept walking in his door, person after person, group after group, artist after artist, writer after writer.
Yeah.
He had a team of people that just really knew how to find talent. And when they saw talent, they bring it straight to Mr. Gordy. Say, hey, here you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it wasn't just artists; it was writers. Like Rodney was in the loop, and then he became an artist.
Producers, engineers, all the best engineers. The whole shebang, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody worked together. Leave your egos outside. Bring your ego. Put your egos in your songwriting, but don't bring them to this room because everybody in here's got egos. So
so he was very good with people, and he seemed to get the right people at the right time in the right jobs and in the right bands to make the success he got, to be one of the most successful label managers of all time. And that is some feat because he was dealing with a lot of different personalities. And then he of course he put Ozone together and gave them a 5-album deal. So he wasn't, he was always on top of things. When it came to finding talent and putting it out at the right time.
And to be honest, getting 5 albums on Motown was damn near impossible.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I feel we feel very blessed to have gotten to do like all kind of genres of music too. for it to be Motown, which was,
Yeah.
you know, soul and R&B and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, from starting with Rick James and ourselves, we got to change that narrative and add funk to that, you know, to that whole thing. You know, Commodores was funky, but they wasn't really a funk group. They still was a pop, R&B soul act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from Rick James, Tina, ourselves, you know, we started the funk and stuff like that. Also, we were able to branch off into well, we did our first album was jazz, actually. So we did a jazz album first, and then we was able to branch off later on in our careers there with new wave, because I was kind of obsessed with Devo, and I was like, I want some of that myself, right?
Yes,
So
right.
we called Susie, which Motown, you know, hey, they said, hey, this is a hit.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, it's
we got to
incredible.
branch up.
It's incredible that you, I mean, a lot of people would be glad to just get one album on Motown. You got 5, and then you backed 3 of their major artists. It's like, come on. You know, and I think
getting 5.
And I think people just are really not aware of Ozone and the band and its history. I think the fact that you did so much, you know, in the background, if you like, and
yes,
but, you know, but for other artists, people don't really know the Ozone story or the history behind it, and it's still happening today.
You know, Paul. Another thing that happened is when it was time for us to support our records or go out on a tour, a lot of things kept coming up. Like, for instance, Sammy Davis Jr. needed an opening act for his tour. And mind you, Sammy Davis Jr. crowd was not Ozone fan base.
Right.
And but then the option was, hey guys, you can go, you know, play shows with Gap Band and Lakeside and these groups, or you could go and open up for Sammy Davis Jr., you know, and it was like, you know, kind of a no-brainer to hang out with the Rat Pack instead, you know?
I mean, I forgot about that guy. That's another story in itself. I mean, this is crazy.
Man.
You know? I mean, you know, we've even got, and you've also got a connection to Little Richard. I mean, you started with your apprenticeship, wasn't it, as a bass player? I mean, how many people do their apprenticeship as a bass player with somebody like Little Richard? You know, your first gig, Little Richard, when you're 20. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And how did you get that job? I mean, how do you walk into an apprenticeship as a bass player with Little Richard?
Well, I actually ended up recording on one of his songs that he did, Down and Out from Beverly Hills movie that he was in. And he did the song called Great God Almighty. I was with Billy Preston at the time. We were living in Amsterdam, in Holland.
Right.
And Billy said, hey man, we got to go to LA. We're gonna record some music with a guy. He didn't say who it was or nothing. And so myself and guitar player Robert Palmer, we walk into the studio, and there's this guy sitting in the dark in the corner, like you are right now, Paul.
Yeah, in the dark.
But he was sparkling. He had the sparkly shoes, the sparkly neck, the sparkly arms, hands. And I said, wow, who is this guy? And he's like, hey, man, Little Richard. And so, you know, we did that session. After that, Richard was like, hey, man, if you guys, you know, hey, call me up if you want to hang out. So we decided to call up. Really.
Yeah, amazing story.